Who are the best running backs in the ACC? Well, who better to help me out with a list like that? Roddy Jones, former Georgia Tech great, now with the ACC Network, calling games every Saturday. All right, Roddy, help me out. Give me a countdown to your top 4 running backs in the ACC.
First off, I'm excited to see the running backs in the ACC this year. I think it's going to be a fantastic time in the conference to be a running back. But I'm going to start at number 4 with Brandon Radcliff up there at Louisville. I think he's a guy that's going to be the workhorse. He had a lot of touchdowns last year, 12 touchdowns over the course of the year. I think Bobby Petrino likes to run the ball. They're going to turn around and hand it to Brandon Radcliff all the time. Number 3 is John Hillman up at Boston College. Another guy who was a freshman last year, burst on the scene. Was the workhorse there. I think he's got a chance to have an Andre Williams type of impact for that Boston College. I don't necessarily think he'll put up the numbers, but in terms of runner, he's a downhill guy, north and south, doesn't play any games in terms of getting his pads square and getting up the field. So really like him a lot and really like the fit there with that Boston College team.
I was going to say Steve Adazio's teams, they run the ball.
They always run the ball. That's their DNA. That's what Steve Adazio has done well there is building a system where everybody knows the makeup of the team and the way that they win football games is to run the ball well and play good defense. Number 2, I'm going to bring it back down to South Carolina and Clemson and Wayne Gallman. I think last year it got a little bit of a slow start, but almost 600 yards in his last 6 games. So really caught on there towards the end once he became the starter and really got his feet wet. He's a year older, a year more mature, and in that spread offense, if Deshaun Watson is healthy, it brings the zone read aspect into it as well. So there's going to be a lot of running lanes. Really a complete back. He's got a lot of speed, bigger guy than you'd think, and runs with a little bit of power as well. So he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. They've got weapons all over the field there at Clemson, and he's definitely one of them. And then number 1, I mean, who else are you going to pick? The Terminator, James Conner, the reigning player of the year. I mean, what can you say about the guy? He slimmed down to about 240 before the season, which I think is scary for opposing defenses because he's going to be so much quicker and faster at that weight. But 1,700 yards last year, led the ACC with 300 carries. You talk about a guy who brings the lunch pail every time he comes to the field. Another guy who's going to punish defenders on a consistent basis. So he's got to be the number 1, and he's one of the tops in the nation. And
we could say, isn't he going to wear down, but he's so big. I think he can handle the load.
I don't think he'll reach 300 carries like he did last year, so anything less than that will probably be a welcome sight for James Conner. But I agree, he's so big that as he continues to learn to run behind his pads, I don't think he'll wear down at all.
Now, there is a name we're not mentioning on the list, one of the great running backs, not only in the ACC, in the country, Dalvin Cook, suspended to the start of the season for Florida State. He would certainly have been in your list.
Absolutely. He'd have been number 2 on the list, right behind James Conner. He's an explosive guy that really caught on at the end of last year as well. But we'll see how it turns out there with the situation that he's got going on. But a fantastic runner, no doubt.
All right, Roddy Jones, great talking to you. Great hearing about your best backs in the ACC. You're watching the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.